He be calling me like, he be calling me like, he be calling me like, burn, bitch, Where my ladies at? I need y'all to make a little bit of noise. Woo! Woo! It was nervous when I had it. I talking lady. Why you up in my face? Now that I'm alive, you probably I ain't gonna wait for your ass. There ain't anything for you at this time. Who the fuck are you? Who are you? I'm getting this thing.
Welcome back, viewers. It's James Calm, the guy on the bike. And, well, I schmoozed my way in here to the Brooklyn Museum. And downstairs they've got the artist ball going on, but I decided I was going to sneak up here to the 4th floor and walk through an exhibition of drawings by Jean-Michel Basquiat. Now, well, I think Jean-Michel Basquiat was maybe one of the most highly recognized and prolific artists that's come out of the New York scene in the last, well, 30 years. And gosh, at this point, I guess he's been dead for nearly that long. I'm not going to have a chance to get the titles and dimensions of all this work, but I guess they're calling this the Hidden Notebook, something like this. Wow. So these were, I guess, notebooks that had not been seen, but he's got a great script, great hand. And, well, I actually bumped into Jean-Michel a couple of times. While I was working in Utrecht, I made a couple of deliveries to his studio down on Great Jones Street. Well, this is really a beautiful piece. It's untitled 1986, and well, this looks like graphite, acrylic, maybe gesso on paper, but boy, this is the kind of stuff that he was doing that I love. And you know, because I watched him develop from probably 1980 to, well, until he passed away, I believe in 88, it was interesting to see the way that he changed. Well, he's a great list maker. Jarmushkina, Pee Wee Nicholson, Junk and Cigarettes. You know, in many ways, a lot of this stuff is like poetry. And I noticed that as he moved along in his career, that the work seemed to get more and more involved with language and text. Oh, by the way, I wanted to make a shout out to a viewer that recommended that I come up and see this and do a report. Somebody from Melbourne, Australia. So I'm just putting that out there. I'll read a little of the wall text here. The total number of notebooks created by Basquiat remains unknown, but the 8 examples on view here, produced between 1980 and about 1987, point to a consistent and deliberate practice that relates to the artist's larger studio work in illuminating ways. His choice of readily available marble composition books is in keeping with Basquiat's interest in everyday objects. Even when he could afford more durable materials, he continued to use the inexpensive composition book, available at dime stores and corner delis. In composing these notebooks, Basquiat generally left the reverse side of each page blank. This format creates a clean, open space facing each text and allows each page to function independently. Basquiat's controlled penmanship and conscientious use of all capital letters give the notebook writings an ornamental appearance that sets them apart from the mundane note-taking or traditional sketches. Best understood as autonomous works of art rather than preparatory studies for larger compositions, the notebooks often contain words and ideas that are not found in Basquiat's larger works. So here again, this is the kind of stuff that I love. So this is a major piece. I'd say this is at least 8 by 10 feet. Untitled 1982-83 oil stick colored pencil crayon and gouache on paper mounted on canvas. So it looks like these are pages from a notebook that has been glued onto a nice canvas, and then he's put his little signature head in there. Crumbling relative. Oh, I like this. Hogarth's etchings of John Wilkes. Well, I think that one of the things that has impressed me is that these are Untitled Notebooks 1980-81. Although a lot of people have portrayed Jean Michel as some kind of wild child, kind of a natural talent, you can see that he was a smart guy, and spent a lot of time systematically studying things, dealing with language. Okay. Well, I remember seeing stuff like this at one of his fun gallery shows. This got to be back in the early 80s. It's titled All Beef, acrylic and oil stick on canvas mounted on wood. And I like the way that it's two-sided, sort of like a street sign. This is good. Lard, ink on glass. Well, now we just have some of his head sketches ripped out of a sketchbook. Oh, I've seen that image again and again. I think one of the things that appeals to a lot of people about Jean Michel is that a lot of this stuff seems extremely simple, straightforward. It's Untitled 1981. I like the buff color of the paper. Jimmy Best on his back in the sucker punch of his childhood. Jimmy Best on his back. Oh, I've got another one of these two-sided freestanding pieces. Well, I think some of these are photostats. He's glued on. As I was saying, I noticed that as he started to develop, and towards the end of his short life, I think he only lived to be 28 maybe, anti-baseball card production. Oh, here's a nice thing. Basquiat and language. Basquiat once said that he used words like brushstrokes, treating words like visual elements in a composition. He freely arranged words and phrases in his notebooks as a designer would, balancing lines and shapes on a page and collaging together a wide range of subjects in a single composition. Strategies such as inverted spelling, crossing out words, and the serial repetition of text are explored throughout his notebooks, writing in large-scale works. Basquiat also used language poetically, choosing words for their descriptive as well as their lyrical qualities, and combining his own words with texts appropriated from his surroundings. Attuned to the rhythm and musical quality of words, Basquiat emphasized repetition and experimentation, testing letters, words for both their sounds and their constellations of meaning. Well, we'll keep moving here. So this is one of the books. Obviously they've ripped out the pages. It's Untitled Notebooks, 1980 to 81. A number of Basquiat's notebooks entries take the form of lists. He included phrases, facts, and observations. Famous Negro athletes. Oh, this was a theme that he worked with a lot. These are Untitled Kren drawings, 1981, Kren on paper. So I'd say these are all about 12 by 10 inches. If you go back in the Calm report, you can see a show that Larry Gagosian held, I guess it was in 2013. And I get through about maybe a third of the show before they catch me and run me out. But one of the points I made at that time was that I thought that Basquiat was a great colorist. And other people said they thought that his colors were muddy and kind of intentionally funky and abject, but I thought that they really kind of expressed a color of the streets, something that you would see if your eyes were open and you happen to be walking. Signs were repainted and kicked around, high and low. Basquiat's subjects are a heady blend of high and pop culture influences. Raised in a multilingual home, his mother was of Puerto Rican descent, his father from Haiti. Basquiat was a student of art history and world culture. Visiting the museums of New York City from a young age, he was also from an early age an avid reader, draftsman, and critical thinker, often paying tribute to his works to great figures of Western art and literature, artists such as Gerard Terboche and Leonardo da Vinci, and writers including Herman Melville and Mark Twain. He cleverly acknowledged both the significance of high culture and his own relationship to art, historical, and literary traditions. In the notebooks and other works, these references are juxtaposed with allusions to pop stars and athletes, everyday sights and sounds of urban life, children's games, city traffic, jazz music, advertisements, news headlines, and random incidents, and even shopping lists, phone numbers, and personal notations. Old Tin, 1981. Oh, this is a beautiful little piece. This is like it's on an old cabinet door, oil on wood. And gosh, I'm not sure, but I think that one of his pieces recently went at auction for $44 million, something like that. This is Untitled 1988, acrylic and oil stick on canvas. So this was towards the end. Again, we've got the words, and that's some kind of a logo. Untitled Terboche. It's a great Dutch painter. I think Terboche probably was able to capture silk and silk fabric better than anyone. Terboche bore removing fleas from dog. Okay, so there's the picture. Well, we'll go in and take a quick look here at the other end of the exhibition. So they've got documentaries. I'm sure you could go on YouTube and see the entire thing here. This is untitled Leonardo da Vinci 1982. So this is probably acrylic and oil stick on paper. And that's probably about 42 by 72. So 4.5 by, or 3.5 by 6 feet. This is James Combe reporting on Jean-Michel Basquiat, The Unknown Notebooks, here at the Brooklyn Museum. Thank you, Kate.